He's getting serious. All right.
I'd like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of Thursday, April the 3rd, 2025, to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for roll call, please.
Okay, Mayor Gunter.
Here.
Clerk Simsky, here. Trustee Barry, absent. Trustee Barker.
Here.
Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Trustee Scales, absent. Attorney Zemanak.
Here.
Village Manager May.
Here.
And Assistant Village Manager Parker.
Here. All right, would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. Open forum, I understand no one, if there's an item on the agenda, you have an opportunity to talk about that item. If none, then I'll close open forum and move on to reports. My report is first. And the first thing, I want to congratulate who voted and everybody who voted. That's your right to vote. And we have two of our future trustees, May 1st, in the audience. We got Gina and Bob. You want to stand up so they could see you?
All right.
And of course, Bruce Barker was reelected. So we've got the three trustees. May 1st will be the... And of course, Trustee Nero and Clerk Simsky, no one wanted to run against them, so they're both going to be sworn in on the 1st. So, congratulations.
All right.
That was first thing, and then on the water rates update, the village has created and published a new water rates page on the village website. The page highlights the importance of maintaining our village infrastructure and the related rate increases scheduled over the next few years. And that's really all I have for tonight. Clerk Simsky.
Thank you, Mayor. In correlation with the election, just a reminder to anyone who put out election yard signs that all signs should be removed promptly. The village will have a yard sign collection box near the intersection of Grant and West Quincy Street as part of the Electronics and More Special Recycling event on Saturday, April 5th, 8 a.m. to noon. Please feel free to drop off your unwanted signs there. And then a reminder on offices being closed. The village offices will be closed on April 18th and May 26th. That's all.
Well, thank you. I'm going to go on this side to Trustee Nero, Public Works Committee.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Our next Public Works Committee meeting is June 12th, so maybe we'll have a new chair then. We'll see. And again, just another thank you to Westmont. Obviously, congrats to everybody that won, but I appreciate everybody that supported me and came out and voted. And as I've already shared online and social media, I'm super excited and take it very serious, and we'll have quite a bit more to say on swearing-in night. But I just wanted to thank everybody. It definitely means a lot, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you. And still have that tree seedling giveaway coming up, so please sign up and select which seedling you want. You can go on our website, check it out, and then you can pick up those seedlings on Arbor Day, April 25th, from 1 to 5 p.m. at the library. Adopt a Planner is still going. You can still sign up and get a planner if you'd like. They haven't sold out yet. Please visit the village website so you can adopt a planner and get on that before they're all gone. And free leaf pickup. This one always gets me, but there will be a free leaf pickup April 7th through 11th. Details has been published on the village website, so please check that out and take advantage of it with our new provider, Flood Brothers. And we just announced this Public Works Open House will be May 17th, 10 a.m. to 1 at the Public Works facility. Everybody is invited. Details are on the website. If you haven't been to it, I highly recommend. It's a lot of fun for the whole family. Games, giveaways, all kinds of stuff, and snacks, and you get to see all the equipment in the facility. It's a pretty good day out. And then last but certainly not least, I just wanted to address a couple comments and questions I've gotten. about a position, or I should even say, about a position that the board created back in August of 2024. Many communities have done this when there's been a long-standing mayor in office that retires and still wants to give back to the community. Some call it a mayor emeritus role. Bolingbrook and Naperville did it. If you all remember former Mayor Pradle, great man, and just an awesome thing to keep people like that involved. So with that, the deputy mayor position was created in August of '24. It was unanimously approved by the village board then. And the board, at that time recognized the value of a qualified and experienced person that could, help and bring some extra value to the village. So with that, once I'm sworn in, I intend to ask, and hopefully he'll accept, but Ron, Mayor Gunter, to serve in that capacity as deputy mayor. I think it's an awesome opportunity for the village. It's a heck of a deal. Ron has, decades of experience that's tied to this community and municipal government, and that's something that I know I can't replace in his position now, and I think it's going to be an awesome thing to have him still helping in that capacity. We're going to have a number of big projects coming up. It's again, things like economic development, liquor license reviews, chamber events, ribbon cuttings, just like that extra person in the community. This isn't a full-time employee. I know there's some conversations about that. Our mayor is in a position just to give back. This is a stipend, very part-time role. We're talking a very nominal amount, a few $100s a month type of situation. So this is a heck of a deal for the village. It's something I know the board wholeheartedly supports, and I do as well. So Mayor Gunter, I hope you still are excited for it. I know you shared it, but this position, just so everybody knows, it's a freelance contractor role that will work obviously with the village and village administration, so not full-time. I think we expect a few hours a week, 5 to 7 or so is what we discuss.
And we don't want them in the building too much.
We got to keep that down, but again, this is compensation and stipends, very similar to some on the board, like a village clerk. So it's, again, very, very nominal. There's no benefits, there's no retirement, contrary to what everybody's saying. This is a heck of a deal for the village, and honestly, I'm grateful that the mayor is still willing to give back. He's got a lot more to give, and quite selfishly, a lot to help me with. So I appreciate that, sir, and I look forward to embracing my new role as mayor, with you right there helping the entire village with a lot of the things, and thank you. And that's all I have on that, so appreciate it.
And Trustee Little, Administration and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a Administration Finance Committee meeting right here at 4:30, and basically what we talked about were the board was brought up to speed on all the involuntary annexations that are pending. New business that we talked about were the Park District asking for additional funding for the fireworks. And we also talked about a little bit on the yard waste stickers that we're going to be working. You'll hear more about it from our business department. They'll send out information, I assume, about the stickers and going for our waste flood contract. So that's that. In addition to that, we were updated, no, that's okay, that's already done. The next thing I wanted to talk about is bring you up to speed on last Thursday's special meeting. We introduced the public to the fire station needs and design, and we will be doing additional information coming forward. But that was a very long meeting talking about exactly what it was that was necessary, the reasons for it, and obviously it's not just something that we want to tear down and build up. We want to do it right, and we want to replace what we've got because it's time. The stuff that we've got is, the building itself is antiquated and it's not holding up, and unfortunately it needs to be brought into the new century, so we're gonna address all that with the public coming forward. And then last but not least, there's only 9 more weeks until cruising nights start, and I hope to see everybody out there every Thursday night during the months of June, July, and August from 5 to 9. Check out Westmont Special Events website for more information at westmontevents.com. Thank you, Mayor.
Well,
That's
thank
all.
you. And we'll turn over here to Trustee Johanna Guzzo for Fire Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next Fire Public Safety Committee meeting is May 15th, 4:30 here at Village Hall. Everyone is invited to attend. The Citizens Fire Academy has started and runs through the end of April with 8 residents attending. It is a great program, so I'm glad to see that those 8 residents are getting to know our fire department a little bit more. And then in piggybacking on Trustee Little's comments about the fire facility, we are going to be having a fire facility tour and presentation Tuesday, May 13th. The village is coordinating a tour and presentation regarding the discussion of a new fire department headquarters at 6015 South Cass Avenue. Details will soon be published on the village website. The goal of the tour and presentation is to allow residents to see firsthand the condition of the current building, as well as talk about the needs of our fire department, both now and in the future. So keep an eye on the village website for more information. And last but not least, Knights of Columbus Fish Fries are going for the next, I believe, 2 weeks. It runs through Lent, Fridays from 5 to 8 p.m., 25 North Cass Avenue. It's always a great time. Food is really good, so please come out and support our Knights of Columbus. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, just to add to that, if there's anyone who knows the condition of that building, your dad's name's on it, and you realize that it's time to build a new one. So
Yes.
you're very much aware of that.
I am very much
And we're
aware.
going to put the name on the new one, so it's
Thank
not
you.
going anywhere.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll turn to Trustee Barker, Environmental Improvement.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just wanted to say, I'm honored to be reelected to serve as a trustee. I appreciate the confidence from the Westmont residents. And, for me, it's public service, and I just wanted to say, as far as the mayor, the best example in town of public service is the mayor. And, there are some other folks that in the past, like Trustee Seneca and
Where's Addington?
James Addington, right, in the public service. But Ron, you've always been there for this community, and we appreciate that. The Environmental Improvement Committee will meet again on Monday night, April 7th, at the library. And for that evening, we have another guest speaker. She is actually the president. Her name is Catherine Real, and she's the president of Sag Moraine Native Plant Community. And they work to restore native plants to the area. And she's going to come out and talk to us. And, this is about education of the people in town, residents, to learn more about it. And, goes hand in hand with our Protect Our Pollinators program and everything. But the nice thing about, transitioning over to the library, we've had actually guests in the audience now, which we weren't seeing that here. So that's all working out very well, and we're excited about that. And then Saturday morning here, we have the first spring event here, the electronics recycling and more, out here in front of Village Hall. There's information on the village website for that. And some of those things, so people know there is a cost to some of it, but it's a nominal fee. We try to keep that down so people take advantage of it and do the recycling, keeping things out of the landfill. So every time we have an event like that, the numbers go up. People are using it and taking advantage of it, and they're all grateful that we're doing it. So again, another great program, and I'm proud of the town for having it. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have 2 trustees that have children in the schools that are on break, and I think they're spending time with their family. I'll give a report for Trustee Barry on Police Public Safety Committee. There's a paper shredding event on April 19th, and that's to help with the Special Olympics paper shredding fundraiser. Again, the fire department only does, police department only police department's only fundraiser, Special Olympics, and they've been great raising money for it. The event will be April 19th from 9 a.m. to noon at the police station. Uncle Bub's April 22nd. A portion of your purchase will benefit Special Olympics. Drug Take-Back Day, April 26th. Drop off your unwanted prescription drugs on April 26th from 10 till 2 at Mariano's and the Westmont Police Department Station in 500 North Cass. Another event for Special Olympics at Humidor, May 9th, each $50 ticket includes dinner supplied by Zaza's and 2 cigars, raising money for Special Olympics. And another one is Cop on Top, May 16th, support Special Olympics Illinois, May 16th, at both our Dunkin' Donut locations, 63rd and Ogden. And Trustee Scales is the Community Development Chair. The next Community Development Committee is scheduled for April 17th. Planning and Zoning Commission, the regular April meeting of Planning and Zoning Commission has been canceled. Over a year in the making, a special meeting at 6 p.m. on April 23rd will kick off the public hearings for the long-anticipated zoning ordinance updates. The public is welcome to attend, or watch live from home, or catch up with recordings. Visit the community development page of the zoning update for schedules, links to agendas and draft documents, and other updates. So again, that's coming up. And that's all the reports we have. I'll move on. Does anybody have any items they'd like removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read.
Thank you, Mayor. Consent agenda this evening begins with Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held March 20, 2025. Next is Finance Ordinance number 7. I didn't write the total on that sheet. Do you have the Finance Ordinance, Mr. Parker? Okay.
No. But did you get that? Or no?
Finance ordinance, in aggregate, amounts to $1,433,103.58. I'm just filling that in. There are 3 purchase orders. First is Main Street Designs Incorporated, $34,533. This is for various holiday decorations. Next, 2 purchase orders are for Curry Motors. First one is $62,966 for a Ford F-450, which replaces Vehicle 122 in the street division. And the next purchase order also for Curry Motors, but it's not for the truck chassis, but for the same unit. It is the dump build-out for the 2025 Ford Super Duty to replace the Vehicle Unit 122 in streets. Those purchase orders are total $183,977. They are all 3 budgeted. Next, we have proclamation for National Library Week. Board to consider a proclamation to declare April 6th through 12th, 2025 as National Library Week in the Village of Westmont. And lastly is a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Board to consider a proclamation to declare April 13th through 19th, 2025 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the Village of Westmont. And I just wanted to clarify that that was read correctly, but when the agenda was published the first time in the body, it just referred to it as National Public Safety Week, but it is Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. That is the entire consent
Have a
agenda.
motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve is read. Little.
Second, Nero.
Motion made second. Any comments? Question? I do have, the vehicle is a part of our vehicle replacement schedule.
Yeah.
And how long did it take us, did we were able to get this quicker? I know there's been a backup on.
We had orders for one, and Director Reese could describe it more thoroughly, but you're right. We had vehicles that were ordered that had like in excess of a year lead time, and then we found a different vendor that could get us to a sooner. So acting on that, these replaced those purchases, so we were able to cancel other orders and proceed with this.
And they matched the low bid of
It's a state bid.
State
Yeah.
bid. Good, good. Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. We do not have any unfinished business. We'll move on to new business. Amend Class 19 liquor license requirements. Board to consider ordinance amending Chapter 10, Section 10-36, of the Westmont Code of Ordinances to revise the Class 19 liquor license requirements. And we got Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern.
Evening, Mayor and Village Board. The summary here is, Class 19 liquor licenses are for performing art venues in the B1 Business District. Currently, alcohol sales are restricted to when the performers and audience members are aged 21 years or older. The proposed amendments would allow a Class 19 liquor license holder to be issued for performing art venues now in both the B1 and B2 business districts, and also allow for alcohol sales where the performers and audiences include persons under the age of 21. A new business moving into the area is interested in the guest amenity of alcohol service and has requested the village to consider these requirements. We've had a performing arts venue liquor license in effect for probably 9-10 years, never been used. The business was proposed for Quincy Street, never came to be, so the ordinance just sat there. We now have someone expressing interest in it, however, it was only for the B1. However, we wanted to include the B2 business district, so that's why this amendment is there, as well as before. The previous license had it for if there are children under the age of 21 performing or in presence, you could not sell alcohol. We're looking to remove that restriction as well too, so they can serve, but they still be monitoring and everything would be on their reliability. And it's their, they're the ones that are to be responsible for anyone who's consuming the alcohol under the age of 21.
They're not, this request is not central business district where the other one was going to go. This is outside.
Correct, this one's outside, so that's why we have to amend it to the B2.
Got it. Do you have a motion to amend?
Motion to approve, Barker.
Second, Hero.
Motion made, second. Comments? Anybody?
The business have to come back still, right?
Yes, this is just to amend the liquor license. They now are waiting to get the board's inclination, approval, yes or no. I will be contacting them tomorrow, and they'll be working with me to get the application and fees, et cetera, so that we'll move that forward. Normally, that takes about it can be as long as 3 months, but normally it gets done in 2.
You'll get to sign that.
Yeah, good. It's gonna be a
Yes.
great place. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
Yeah.
Mayor-elect will have the honor of doing that.
Seeing no other questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. Move on to new
Thank you.
business B. 5908 Western, Willowbrook, and 6 South 435 Richmond Avenue, Westmont, and 415 and 425 East 59th Street, Westmont, involuntary annexations. Board to consider ordinance approving a request from the Village of Westmont to involuntary annex the subject properties into the Village of Westmont. Manager May.
Mayor, I'll introduce this, and then the next item on the agenda is also involuntary annexations for a different area, so I'm going to just describe them together. The other area includes 459, 458, and 457 Birchwood Court, 6323 and 6325 South Richmond, and 6348 Western is in the second group. So there's 4 plus 6, and they're in 2 different groups because involuntary annexation and the powers to do that have to be, there's a lot of criteria that have to be met but you have to take in whole the surrounded area. And so one island, I'll just call them islands of unincorporated territory, are the 4 parcels up near 59th and Richmond, and then the other 6 is its own island down by 63rd and Birchwood, but also at Richmond. So these are at our boundary with the Village of Willowbrook. We have involuntary annexations in general is something that we've been, as an administration, I know you know, so I'm just describing for anybody listening, that there are these pockets within the community that are wholly surrounded by the Village of Westmont or Village of Westmont and one other community. So we had ones like this with the Village of Downers Grove, we had them with Village of Clarendon Hills, Village of Willowbrook, and there's still one that's actually Willowbrook and Darien. The 3 of us share one as well. In some areas, there were formal boundary agreements that were established to do that are no longer valid because they're more than 20 years old. And for us, and taking into these areas, and like in concept or in theory, why would you, even consider this? And it's not, you get accused of doing it to jack up population and home rule stuff, and it has nothing to do with that. These areas that are unincorporated have features, and all the infrastructure around them are built and paid for by the tax-paying residents of the property owners of the Village of Westmont. And so most of those services are being provided, and that they're in there. And then when you have unincorporated parcels, then you've got this mixture of, whether it's garbage services or township, or in some cases, how to maintain the pavement. I could talk all night about it, but, Birchwood Court was unincorporated, but one parcel voluntarily annexed a couple of years back, and then all of that pavement comes into the Village of Westmont, all the right-of-way adjacent to it. So we have all these areas, and then, just call it a topic of equity. You bring these into the community. Very often, there are voluntary requests, petitions for annexations, and that's actually expensive because you have to go through public hearings and ask, to be brought into the Village of Westmont. And those are not done very often unless they need something from the Village of Westmont, and it's typically water or potable water, or, our public water supply. We run a water utility as a separate enterprise, but it's part of the Village of Westmont. And that's usually the order we do it. We all know about the very large area up in Liberty Park that has hundreds of parcels that aren't incorporated, but they are greater than 60 acres in mass. So that's nothing that we can bring attention to ourselves. So if it's 60 acres or less, you've got that ability to do this. We've done it before. I was referring previously to it's really just a log sheet, but starting back in 2018, we identified 61 parcels that fell into this category, and to date, we've completed 44. Most of those involuntary, but some of them were voluntary in there as well. And when voluntary ones come in, sometimes they make, connections, or make, new pockets of unincorporated areas, that are bisected, or take out the other community that would be involved, and then those opportunities come up. So we, just internally, we put them in phases, 1, 2, 3, and then we had cut that up into 3A, 3B, and 4, and, today we're in, phase 7 and phase 8 of 9 in doing this. But these would be the last phases. The 9th one is the one that I was talking about, where we share boundary agreement with Willowbrook and Darien and Westmont. There's a 3-way relationship there, and we have met with the administration of both those communities and agreed to, redo that, reactivate and reestablish the boundary agreement in that location. I won't be working on that, but they agreed to do that, and we'll finish that up.
The mayor.
So when we're done, assuming action tonight, that would be the only area left, and then Liberty Park would be the other one, and it's its own thing, and it's a whole water distribution system. But with that, there are residents that particularly the 4 up by 59th Street, they have their own unique situation as far as a private well, but it's a shared well. That's not important, except that, I've got notes that go back a long time where, investigating hooking onto the water main that exists on 59th Street, but it's on the other side of the street, and 59th Street's wide, so it's an expensive, auger to get to the other side, and then there's the connection, and then the costs with, if you're running on a well and you get your access from the back of the property, and now you're bringing it to the front, it's not just the cost of the physical construction of the tap, and if there were any tap-on fees, those, sometimes there's a recapture. We didn't build the water main on 59th Street. The McNaughton, one of the Fairfield developments did, so they're owed money back for that service. But I was talking about the front and back. So you've got like internal plumbing issues that you have to do too. So why do I bring this up? Because we don't go into this involuntary annexation and, you all, I'm speaking for you all, because this administration and administrations prior to it have, tried to make this as cost, I don't want to call it efficient, but, as least costly as possible. And there is a change in the property tax structure, and there will be an increase, but we don't take any fees for annexation. There's no hearing, there's none of that. If they hook onto water as part of it, sometimes you'll waive the fees for the tap-on. But the plumbing costs, and, I'm talking in a circle here now.
Yeah.
But they've been approaching us, or, I've got longer history in a public works capacity for access to water, going back, if you remember, DuPage Plumbers and, the Hancocks, and they were trying to get a permit to do that, and it was expensive. And then with our meetings with Willowbrook, we know that the properties on the 4 on 59th Street are also have interest, and I think they might be here tonight, but, they can speak to it, but they've been investigating sanitary sewer extensions to service the property too. It's a Flat Creek Water Reclamation District, so they're their own business, but they've been working with the Village of Willowbrook to try and figure that out, and then it looks like it might be easier to do that from the Westmont side, from the Richmond side, so we agreed with Willowbrook to, take on navigating that process. So they have a lot of interest, and I've shared all their concerns with you, whether it's, the phone conversations we've had or the emails, but like some of these other phases, the concern is when would we force them to hook onto the public water since it's available, and we have an ordinance that says that if water is available and you're in incorporated Westmont, you're required to hook on. And I've said it out loud, I'm saying it again on TV. I know of no example in the last 30 years, or me or the previous 2 managers or the previous 2 water superintendents have ever evoked that requirement. But nonetheless, it's there, and that's always a concern about when am I going to be forced to, take on these costs. So we have other examples where you have waived the requirement for hook-on for some period of time. The previous ones were 5 years. And unless there were other triggers that were hit on, like a remodel, an investment, you're rebuilding, you're pulling an extensive plumbing permit to do something, the well fails, you can't drill a new well. County Health Department will have input on that too. But if you're not looking to do it, we don't want to make you do it. So there's a request for those, not concessions, but those accommodations as well. And then we had another email earlier this afternoon with the same thing, that, appreciating the 5-year, was even asking if that could be longer. Actually, the request is to postpone action. But like I said at committee, all the notifications went out. There was a lot of advance notice. We notified all the other public bodies and taxing bodies and people that have to make adjustments too. So that doesn't prevent us from postponing it, but everybody's anticipating action tonight. And it is involuntary. We can, agree and admit that they would rather that this didn't happen, because otherwise they would have voluntarily annexed. And that just goes behind what it's involuntary. It's,
All right.
so.
Good, good explanation, and I do know that the board's agreement to extend that 5 years, so we'll talk about it when I get an opportunity. I'm going to open up to the public. Anybody wants a comment, come up to the podium, state your, before we have a motion, I'd like to hear if anybody's here to talk about this annexation. You can come up and state your name and your address.
Absolutely.
Good evening. My name is Zuleika Aguirre. I live at 459 Birchwood Court. So it seems like it's involuntary, that's it, bottom line. But my question is more around the lines as well of, what does that mean for school districts, for my children, right? Like, does that mean anything? Any implications? Will they be moved to a different district?
No, they stay in the same school districts.
School districts are unaffected.
Okay.
Library.
A library district will change, you'll come out of one and into another, into the Westmont Public Library. The Park District has to act separately in bringing you into the Westmont Park District, but they will. I mean, I know of no example where they haven't done that on the heels. And you would be in the Westmont Fire Department. It's not a district in Westmont, so it's a department of the municipality, so you would be under and taxed for the Westmont Fire. It's included in the property tax for the Village of Westmont, and you would come out of, I assume it's Tri-State Fire Protection District, so that change will happen. Your address doesn't change. If your mailing address is Willowbrook or Clarendon Hills or Westmont, that's all unaffected by this, and it covers it, right, Spencer?
Yep.
Oh, garbage, you would have a new garbage scavenger. Flood Brothers, you'd have to switch.
I guess I have a follow-up question as well. What does that mean in regards to costs, right? If you've been doing this for a while, there's tax implications, correct? So I'm assuming my taxes are going to go up. Any other costs associated with this involuntary annexation?
Yeah, we had, I'm hoping Spencer can pull that up, but we do little worksheets that you'll be in a Westmont you'll be in a Village of Westmont, which will be a district that's assessed, and like I said, the schools don't change. But you come out of the Tri-State Fire Protection District, because fire is included in the Village of Westmont. Like I described, the garbage, actually, Flood Brothers is cheaper than whoever is doing the unincorporated territories. I mean, some things do go down, but overall, it does go up, and if I remember right, you can find your address, and it's just our estimate, but it's roughly about $800 a year.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
In addition to the increase in property taxes, correct?
No, all of it together.
That is the increase in.
Oh, that is the increase. Okay. And are we assuming that this will be implemented this coming up year, so 2026?
I think it's effective immediately upon approval and recording. Right?
Yeah, but the property tax
Property taxes are in
bills,
the
I think, will be for what's collected in 2026. I don't think they're going to collect it, they wouldn't apply it
Right.
backwards, because
Okay.
those are already in the process of being issued, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else got a question? No?
I wanted to elaborate, so that we had those water concerns up on 59th Street, and then in Birchwood Court, that was one of those examples that I brought up at committee where they were all on village water since they were built, while unincorporated. They weren't contiguous to the Village of Westmont, so they didn't have the ability to incorporate at that time. And there was a pre-annexation agreement that said they would incorporate when it was contiguous. And they became contiguous, but no one file-wise, remembered that there was an agreement, and after that's 20 years old, that goes away as well. So they've been paying in-town rates for public water. So none of the public water delays that I was talking about on 59th Street affect anybody on Birchwood Court. The other parcel's vacant, and the one on Western, they would have to get their water source from the Village of Willowbrook, who already has a water main in the right-of-way. And so you can still put those other accommodations in the ordinance, but it doesn't apply to anybody on that south group.
I'd also point out, you mentioned a potential recapture agreement for the water main extension that was done by McNaughton. The McNaughton Corporation ceases to exist. They went out of business. The village has never been notified that there's a successor owner to that company. And the language in the standard recapture agreement doesn't require the village to collect the recapture fees. It uses the word may, so,
Well, that's good.
yeah, so the village could not collect those.
I don't think we would.
Borough and
Yeah, I don't think we would, so.
tamping fee too, if there was.
Well, right now, I'm looking, and then I'll go around and ask the trustees, I'm looking for a motion for the new business B, which is 5908 Western Willowbrook, 6 South 435 Richmond Avenue, Westmont, 415, 425 East 59th, Westmont. A motion to involuntary annex them. Do I have that motion?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made and second to approve. Trustees, any comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. And just out of curiosity, it's just the square foot, I mean, it's a foot of recapture for that property, right?
If there would have been a recapture, the total cost to build the water main past your property that you can benefit from, those costs are prorated to a per-foot cost, and if you've got a 60-foot lot, it would be 60 times that unit.
And it could be substantial.
But it often is, so it's good that that doesn't apply.
Doesn't
And,
come in.
But there's still great expense on
Yeah,
59th Street
I
getting
know.
underneath it.
All right, motion passes. We'll move on to C, and I know the manager's already explained it, but it's 459, 458, and 457 Birchwood Court, 6323 and 6325 South Richmond Avenue, Willowbrook, and 6348 Western Avenue, Clareton Hills. An involuntary annexation. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Barker.
Second Guzzo?
Motion been made and second approved. Anybody, any comments?
I just wanted to, it was just going on with my comments that these are their mailing addresses, so they aren't incorporated even though it says Western Avenue and and it says Willowbrook and Clarendon Hills, and they keep those mailing addresses until the U.S. Postal Service,
That'll never happen.
yeah, right.
I did just have a question. I think at the committee meeting, we had talked about trying to extend the amount of time
Yeah.
by which they needed to move on to village water absent any other triggers. I think the draft ordinance had said 5 years. Is that what it is now, or did we already change that?
It says 5 years now, which is consistent with what was done in a batch of 2018 involuntary annexations, but the board can certainly direct that the previous ordinance and this ordinance
Need a new motion?
be
for that?
changed, yes.
I've got a motion
Which,
for this already. I gotta
Yes.
go back. Yeah.
So we'll go back to the other one later, but for this one, I guess the board can discuss if they want to.
Well, this is the one where it doesn't apply because they've already got water.
It would go back to the previous one.
So we vote on this one.
Yeah, we gotta vote. Motion's on the,
Properties are already connected to village water. Okay, so let's vote on this one first.
yeah, we'll do this one first. Motion. Any trustee comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker?
yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Motion passes, and we're going back because in the,
Except the Western
it's a
Avenue.
5-year stipulation to have, unless something triggers it, and I think the board's pleasure is to have a motion to double that.
10 years?
Do I have a motion?
So can we do a motion to reconsider the previous ordinance, to amend it, to extend the time period for connection to 10 years? Someone can make that motion.
Say so moved.
To say so moved.
So moved, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made and second. Any comments? Anybody? Seeing
Can
none,
you-
roll.
Can you
Yeah,
explain
trustee
to the
Lynn.
public what that means, the extension of, from 5 years to 10 years, what it ultimately means?
It means, I was referring to the ordinance that we have that we've never used that said if you're in the village of Westmont and water is available adjacent your property, you're required to hook on. And we've never evoked it, and this is adding a 10-year promise that we will never invoke it for that purpose.
And that's approximately how much money if it was to be invoked?
I don't know, it's many thousands of dollars
Okay.
to connect.
It gives them another 5 years, but when they have to do it, the
The
costs are
idea
going
is
to be
that they can
higher.
do it when they want to and not, we're not,
We're not forcing.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
That was a request, right?
it's a multiple requests.
Consideration,
Yes.
yeah.
Unless something triggers
Yeah.
the need.
If you're going to build a new home or you're
Okay.
All right. I
So
don't-
to clarify, just procedurally, we have a motion and a second to reconsider the previous ordinance to add a new, or amend a condition. Your vote right now is just on the motion to reconsider. If that passes, you're going to have to vote to reapprove the ordinance with the amendment. So
Okay.
2 votes here are required under Robert's rules. Sorry.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Motion passes. Now we'll move back to the new business B. We put the amendment on to the 10 years, and I need a motion for the involuntary annexations with
With the amended condition.
amended condition. Do I
So
have a
move, Nero.
Second Guzzo.
motion made and second, and comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business D, which is engineering services agreement, Phase 3 construction engineering, the water main for Washington and Traby infrastructure improvements. Board to consider ordinance authorizing an engineering service agreement, Baxter and Woodman, for Phase 3 construction engineering service for the water main portion of the Washington and Traby infrastructure improvements project. And Director Reese.
Good evening. This is a request to approve the sum of $215,800 for Phase 3 construction engineering services. This is for the water main portion of the Trowbridge infrastructure improvements project. The construction contract was approved at the prior meeting, and tonight is Phase 3 construction. This is the first of 2 contracts. This one is for the water main portion, which is the beginning of the project, and includes the project initiation, construction initiation phase, and then the next one that you will see is for the storm sewer and roadway portion, and will include the closeout. These projects were combined to avoid excessive disturbance to the neighborhood, having like 2 successive construction seasons of disturbance, so, and to also accommodate work around the school in that area, not to disturb the school twice, so.
Amy, we know what Phase 3 means. Will you
Yep.
describe what services are?
Sure. So the agreement will include construction administration, field inspection and documentation for this one of the water main portion, as well as coordination with storm sewer and roadway phases.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second Little?
Motion made and second. Any comments? Well explained, so roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business E, engineering service agreement, Phase 3 construction engineering, storm sewer and roadway for Washington and Traby infrastructure improvements. Board to consider ordinance authorizing an engineering service agreement, Primera Engineers LTD, for Phase 3 construction engineering service for the stormwater and roadway portions of the Washington and Traby infrastructure improvement project. And Director Reese.
This is a request to approve the sum of $275,915 for the Phase 3 construction engineering services, and this is for the storm sewer and roadway portions of the Washington and Traby project. This will also include similar items of construction administration, field inspection, and documentation, and coordination with the water main phase.
We have a motion?
Motion to approve Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made and second. Any questions? See, roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business F, engineering agreement, Phase 2 engineering for the Oakmont outfall improvements. Engineering agreement, Phase 2 engineering for the Oakmont outfall improvements. Board to consider ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with WBK Engineering for Phase 2 design engineering for the Oakmont outfall improvements project. Director Reese.
So this is a continuation of a project that was begun with the Phase 1 investigation and concept preliminary engineering. This was approved at the November 3rd, 2022 Village Board meeting. We've been working on this for now a couple of years. the Phase 1 investigation, the purpose of it was to examine alternatives for the Oakmont outfall that would relocate the discharge point to the east of the existing detention area. And then in May of 2024, the village board approved RFQ 24001, which was Stormwater Management Engineering Services, to designate a short list to provide stormwater engineering services for a 5-year term. So this request is to approve the sum of $97,597.89 for Phase 2 design engineering for development of construction documents and associated permitting for the Oakmont Outfall Improvements Project.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made, second to approve. Questions?
Just a comment, Mayor, Director Reese, might be a good idea. I know we got to revisit the county for potential grant funds on this. I know the director there was trying to figure it out. It wasn't a stormwater quality, but if I can help, please let me know.
Will do, thank you.
You know, nice little favor. I know it's a big project, and they were supportive of it in the past, so maybe there's some budget for it, I don't know.
And with that, if I could, we're calling it Oakmont Outfall, which it is, but it's really the Oakwood subdivision, their detention basin, which they call Lake Charles. It's the stormwater management system for that.
No more questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll go on to new business G, award of bid proposal, Quincy Streetscape Phase 2. Board to consider ordinance awarding the bid proposal from Landmark Contractors Incorporated for the Quincy Streetscape Phase 2 project and authorizing a contract consistent with the accepted bid documents. Director Reese, you're still there.
Spending a lot of money.
There, go ahead.
Tis the season. The village accepted bids from 3 contractors for the Quincy Streetscape Phase 2 project. The lowest bid was from Landmark Contractors, Inc., with a bid of $752,991.15. This bid is 12.1% below the engineer's estimate. We checked the references for this contractor, and they were satisfactory. The project will consist of a stairway, railing, snow melt system, and ADA accessibility improvements to the front of Village Hall, ADA parking in front of Village Hall, mid-block curb ramps in the first phase of the Quincy Streetscape, as well as concrete sidewalk, brick pavers, trees, and landscaping.
And this is the one we postponed a little bit, so we
Yeah.
wouldn't have construction back to back.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Parker.
Motion been made in second. Do I have any?
No.
Yes, sir.
Mayor,
Mr.
as long as you're up there, right, could you just describe why we need to do this one, right? We understand it, but there's a lot of people that don't. And if you could just tell us why we're making these improvements. Because everybody's going to look out here and go, you know, it looks really nice in the summer, but there are some issues there.
Yeah, so the ADA accessible ramps to the front of Village Hall are do not meet the statute. So if someone so chose, they could say that we are not in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act because of the front entrance. We've also received comments from the public that there is no ADA accessible parking in front of the building. And additionally, we've received comments from some patrons and businesses in the first phase indicating that they would find the area much more inviting with the mid-block crossing. So those improvements will be also considered.
Thank you.
Can I add to that a little bit, too? We talked about, put this off a while, because the first block of Quincy was very involved, and it's very different, and that whole plaza area and the streets pushed further to the north. So how that mates with this block over here, the full improvement over here would have been continuing that theme all the way down to Grant Street. So even though this was a delay, this is a partial improvement. And last meeting, we heard a comment about how the public sidewalks line up with the crosswalk, and they do line up with the first block and the intersection, but in front of Village Hall, it's weird, you know, today. So that's another thing we're trying to make more logical.
Seeing no other comments, roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Wait a minute.
I can get closer.
Everybody's gonna think you swore.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Motion passes. Move on. Software agreement with DACRA Tech. Board to consider an ordinance approving a 3-year agreement with DACRA Tech for ticketing software. Who's going to do this? Spencer?
Sure, I can introduce that. So this is part of the process of upgrading our financial system. As you know, we've been doing lots of other pieces of that over the last few years. This is the final part, is our ticketing module that our police department uses for parking tickets. And right now, they double and triple and maybe even quadruple their work because they're using so many different systems to be able to, one system to take payment online, one system to take payments otherwise, one system to track what we owe, one system to put it in our financial system, one system to print it. And so this is utilizing one single system that will provide them a lot more streamlined abilities. It's also one that will allow us to do adjudication of parking tickets here as opposed to making people go to the county if they wanted to challenge those. And it's something that allows them to do a little bit more online than they're currently able to do. So I think it's a benefit to staff as well as to the public.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Guzzo.
Second Little?
Motion made and second to approve. Comments? Anybody? Chief, you're good. No comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Moving on to new business I, special counsel appointment. Board to consider ordinance confirming the mayor's reappointment of Attorney Justin Bayer and his new law firm, Sal Ewing LLP, as outside special counsel to the village for pending litigation. Attorney Zemanek.
Thank you. Attorney Byer was retained by the mayor and confirmed by the board to handle some specialized litigation for the village. He has switched law firms, so that requires reappointment of him and his new law firm, assuming the village wanted to continue with the services of this attorney. I know it was discussed with the mayor and internally with staff. He's done a commendable job to date for the village, and the mayor would like to reappoint him and his new firm and have you confirm that.
You have a motion?
Motion to approve Barker?
Second Little?
Motion been made and second. I do have to comment that we had the group, including HR, Spencer, the attorney, talk about this, and we felt because he's doing a great job, he's familiar with the case, we'll stay with him even though he left. And he's keeping everything the same, the rates, everything, so there's really no change other than where he's going to work from. So if no other questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous, anybody got anything other than the nights, tomorrow night, fish
Yeah,
fry?
nice fish fry.
You got some people in the audience.
Oh, yeah. Come on in. No, I was waiting for you to say something. I didn't know when you were gonna.
Okay, hi, I'm Mary Beth Carlson. Hello. And I wanted to lean into or bolster or support what I just heard from the Quincy Cass operation here. I'm a precinct captain. We're sitting in my precinct, and we just had a political thing going on, so I was going door to door. But what I hear all the time, and it's been years, is what happened down there? Why can't I sit there? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? So I guess I'm asking, and I'm hearing a lot of what I hear from the people that I represent, my people out here, is that could we put benches? There are people who have small children who can't sit on the concrete thing. They're requesting benches for their children, or people with ADA, or people who have trouble sitting straight up. That's one of the things that they have asked me to. They ask me all the time, and I have no control over this.
Are you talking about the seating for the restaurants
seating.
or the Addington Plaza?
Well, that too, because also, thank you for bringing that up. When I go down there to the businesses, they're confused as to, like, the seating, why they, this is none of my jurisdiction, but there are people that are unhappy that they can't sit outside the restaurants. And I think it behooves me to let you all know what I'm hearing from these people that are here in this district, or this precinct. They want to know what happened to their benches. They're still upset about the fountain, and there's nothing I can do about that. And that, why can't we sit in front of the restaurants anymore and just have our coffee or sodas or whatever?
Every business knows that we've got a grant program that would cover up to $5,000 for tables and chairs.
Okay, this is good for me
Each
to know.
location, and they haven't taken advantage yet. We extended it, Joe, right? And we're gonna make that opportunity.
But any patron can sit anywhere
Yeah,
they want unless
yeah.
the area is in a lease agreement. You know, if they got tables and chairs out, then those belong to that restaurant business, that food service.
Right.
And that's for their patrons.
Right.
But anywhere else is
Right, they can,
open to all.
the people can sit anywhere they want. But the main takeaway from this is there a liability issue? I keep hearing that if somebody falls down in front of JoJo's restaurant, they're gonna get sued, and the village won't help them. I'm just telling you, is there some sort of liability that I can talk to them and say, well, you have insurance, or I didn't know this about the $5,000 grant, and I will come back to them and say, well, you have $5,000
They've been
to get your
told
chairs and
several
tables.
times. Yeah, they've been told.
We even know who you're describing.
Yeah. Whiskey Hill has taken advantage, and they'll be putting their
I don't
tables.
know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay.
But they all talk to me down there.
All right.
And, okay, so that was,
Thank you.
and can we get benches? That was a thing. Benches under the trees, that's a big thing for them in the park. And I have special dispensation from the fire chief to say that I had problems with my leg, and I had a lot of problem with the legs, and 4 paramedics showed up at my house, even though, anyway, they were delightful. It's Bianca, Miss Falcone, Lyle, Kyle, and Christopher. I was just gonna tell him, he said to come up here and put on the television. Thank you, those EMTs, they got me down in the snow under, with the staircase and everything, so, thank you. Anyway, and thank you for telling me that, sir, and I will get back to them, and, yeah, work on the benches, please.
We're not begging them, but we're reminding them, please, take
Yeah.
advantage of that. We want unified, and again, we have some conditions that can't be a certain type, but we're paying for it. We want them to have.
Only helps their
city-
businesses, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I was very happy to hear, because I have a friend who has a prosthetic leg, and she can't get across the street. She can't park to go to restaurant A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
So that was good to hear. So I've got things to take back to those people that are always asking me, so now I know. Thank you so much.
But thank you.
Have a nice evening, thank you.
Seeing no other business, I do need an executive session tonight for the purpose for discuss the executive session minutes, to review them and decide what can be released or not. So I need a motion to go into executive session for that reason.
Motion to go in executive session for that reason, Nero.
Second Kuzo.
Motion made and second, go in executive session. I ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
We will be going into executive session after there's no further business, and I'll adjourn the meeting. This will be Amanda Simsky's first executive session with
See
the...
popcorn or carrot
Yeah,
cake, but that's
So again, thank you. We're going to go in executive session.